What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Now, my apologies for not getting more videos out. You have no idea the madness that has ensued with these flights lately. As you guys can see, I'm actually out here in Vegas for the Breathe convention, but I did want to just bring an update to you today because there wasn't really much going on in the charts, and then we had the CPI data, we had the FTX news. You would think that this would be terrible for the markets, and yet the price of Bitcoin actually has gone up since then. So what is going on? Why is this happening? Well, I do want to break down how the tides are shifting today. I want to explain what's going on right now and what a lot of people are truly not paying attention to and why they are going to miss out on potentially one of the biggest opportunities. Now, I do want to start with the charts because there's a few things that are a little bit concerning, but at the same time, there are some things that are looking quite positive. So if you are trading, if you are looking to buy Bitcoin, if you're worried about the dip, I do want to go over that. And then make sure you stick around to the end because I have a bunch of videos that I want to play for you guys. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll understand why the times are truly changing. But before we get into the TA in the video, I just absolutely have to play this savage clip from Joe over at Squawk Box.
And move on to crypto, if you'd indulge me for a second, because we always have these crypto conversations. And there seems to be this thing happening. I don't know, Joe, we were talking about $25,000 with Bitcoin. Meanwhile, BlackRock and all of these folks, all the folks that we thought were never going to do this, are now doing it, and yet it's not moving at all.
Well, it's moving today.
Well, I mean, sure, 26. This is 26.
It was 4 when we started saying it wasn't going anywhere. 4,000.
Oh, well, okay. But the question is this now a risk on, a risk off thing? How do you even correlate this to what's happening with the Fed? Because for a long time you used to talk about crypto in regard to the Fed.
So I think crypto is settling as part of the ecosystem. I think people have recognized it is not the new global currency. People have also recognized it's not going to disappear tomorrow. It's becoming institutionalized. And I think, actually, if I were a crypto person, I think this maturation process is a good thing. Where it moves from day to day, I can't really comment on that.
I still think it's outperformed every asset in 1 year, 5 year, and 10 year.
Well, thanks for that, Joe. At least somebody gets it. So having a look at what happened over the week, we had the CPI inflation jumping to 3.7%, right? Now, this is obviously higher than was to be expected. If we come over here, you actually notice that the dollar actually continued to move to the upside on this news. It is still stalling out around that 105 level, right? At the same time, we had FTX, crypto purge, getting the green light for $3.4 billion in liquidations, and you would think that this would freak the market out, but nevertheless, Bitcoin actually pumped. And this is what I was trying to tell you guys about how it's not even that much compared to the daily volume. Again, these narratives are just out there to scare you to take your money. Let them get rid of it. Let them liquidate. It would only end up being healthier for the markets anyway, right? So let's dive in. Let's have a look at the charts. Usually, we've been putting the charts to the end of the video today, but I think now that we did have this move, it is worth noting that, look at this, guys. We had a pump directly into the bottom of the band of the EMA ribbon. And remember, when we go back historically, whenever we're below this ribbon, it tends to be quite bearish. For example, back in this area right here, you can see it does tend to be quite bearish. And then as soon as we get above it, it gets very bullish. Well, right here, we were above it. We had the ribbon starting to flip. It didn't get full-on confirmation of the flip, but then it started to move to the downside on this big move, and you could see where this wick was. So we really need to get at least minimally back inside some of these EMA ribbons with the 89 at around 27,670. Now, is that an actual possible, short-term price target for Bitcoin? Well, according to El Crypto Professor, something very interesting if you look at comparing what we did to 2019, we actually had this downward sloping trend, right? Where all of this area eventually flipped into the support where we had the retest after having the deviation. And if you have a look right here, you can see that we're doing something very similar. If you take these points and you connect them right here, you can see we had the deviation and now we've had that retest on top of it. Now, of course, everyone's been talking about this death cross that we had. And yes, we did lose the upward sloping trend. So that is an issue. We can't ignore that, right? But we still have technically continued to put in these higher highs and higher lows. Now, right here on some exchanges, I did see that this wick dipped down right here. Over on Coinbase, however, it did not, right? So we do like to pay attention to what is going on with Coinbase, and there is a potential rally possibility up into that death cross, right? A lot of people have spoke about that, but something else that I was kind of talking about, and this is what we were saying on our channel, is if you actually have a look, this kind of looks like a double bottom, right? A double bottom, right? And then we also have a double bottom within a double bottom. So this is often a pretty bullish pattern. And if you had followed me, we knew anything that fell below this 25.3 Terra Luna wick area that we had called right here was absolutely perfect opportunity for longing or accumulating. So if you were able to get a chance to actually get that trade in, then you should actually be in some form of profit. Not assuming that you caught it exactly at the bottom, but even if you got it from right here at the 25.3 area, you should still be up about 5%. So if you were using 3x or something like that, that's a nice 15% scalp. So again, guys, if you are interested in learning how to trade, there's over $66,000 in bonuses. Make sure that you check out the links below. I go over this as often as possible. And yeah, we just go over this for free. So what you can see also, something else worth noting that Mustache pointed out was, you see back here where we had, yes, of course, we have this right here. This is the 200 weekly, but right here we have the 200 EMA, right? So you have the simple versus the EMA. Let me get rid of these lines again. And you can see right here, it actually held us down. And once we popped above it, boom, it was fireworks, right? Same thing right here. Once we popped above it, once we retested it after that COVID crash, well, guys, look what we're doing right here. Yes, we've wicked below it, but we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we are on our 5th week right here. And every single time Bitcoin dips below this, which is around 25,700, looking at this orange EMA, you could see that we get bought right back up. And historically, this 50 right here, which was causing us to have that pressure, right? Once we got above it, it was literally off to the races. So again, pointing out the fact that we're still being held down, we're staying above the Terra Luna wick, and we also still have, if you go all the way back here, we still have this major upwards trend. So even if we were to take out this little low right here at around 24 and Bitcoin somehow did come down, we still do have this main upward sloping trend as well. Plus, don't forget, we have a CME futures gap up here at around 35,180, and as history has showed us, we usually tend to close these. We're also, just to simplify it, if you want to get rid of the long-term trend, we are up on the short-term trend, just simply connecting these points from the Terra Luna crash. We danced around it here, acted as support right here, and it's acted as support again. So, again, I'm not saying that we can't go lower. I'm not saying that there couldn't be some issues potentially with price, faking people out. But again, taking this from the retest on the breakout, we're looking at an ultimate move between $46,000 to $54,000. Now, when is that going to happen? Well, obviously, these markets take time. You don't just shoot up to these levels right away, but that still is our target. And I pointed out the fact that we had, while everyone is talking about this death cross on the daily, well, don't forget, the weekly time frame is the more important time frame. And looking at these golden crosses that we have over here with the 20 and the 50, you can see that whenever we have these, we tend to have very nice rallies, and vice versa. When we have these death crosses, we tend to have, big corrections to the downside. Well, we had this right here Monday, the April, this was back in April, right? So right here, you could see that, yes, okay, we went down, we retested on the 20, we did use it as a little bit of area, but now we're just dancing around in no man's land, but we still have not fallen below the 50, we still have not put in the lower low, and again, if you do think ultimate doom and gloom scenario, yes, the next layer would be around 23.2, but down here, look at this amount of VPVR right here. Look at that amount of interest, guys. You're talking about years and years and years of volume and accumulation, and this is only actually just showing it on this very small time frame. So I just don't see anything happening pushing us below that area unless we have something catastrophic like a world war or something insane like that. And of course, I've shown you the similarities between where, we have this downtrend, right? We have this area of major support that becomes resistance, and then we break through it, and then we continue. Same thing here, downward sloping trend. We have this area of support, right? Right here was around that $6,000 back in 2017. We break above it, we're good. Zoom into today. What exactly are we doing? Well, we're doing a very similar thing, right? We have this downward sloping trend right here, right? We have this area, right, of major support, which is around the $30,000 area. And then what is Bitcoin doing? Sorry, guys, I'm a little erratic right now. I'm trying to get this video out quick because I got to go to the conference. But you can see right here, we're still above that trend. So even if you think all doom and gloom scenario, if Bitcoin was to fall down to that trend right now, that would only put us at around $21,000. We would not even be hitting our $20,000 target. Now, the only thing that I do want to talk about, a little bit of concern, is that we do have the S&P 500, which has been currently starting to put in lower highs, okay, on this chart. But at the same time, it does look like we could be consolidating out to this apex right here, which would actually aim for about a mid-October move. So it wouldn't be impossible for markets to sort of chop sideways maybe until mid-October. So that's about one more month of sideways before making that decision to either have the breakdown or the breakout. And because people still consider Bitcoin to be correlated, it is something to note. So moving on, PayPal launches features to enable users to pay with cryptocurrencies. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, this isn't that big of a deal. Aren't there a lot of other companies that do that? Yes, but the reality is that PayPal already has millions and millions of users. You're not asking people to sign up for a new platform that they've never had before. And this could literally open the gates to allow people to pay for cryptocurrencies anywhere. Obviously in the background it is converting it, but that's not even the big news. You guys may remember David Marcus. He was the former PayPal president. Back in May of this year, he had talked about dedicating the rest of his life to building Bitcoin.
It's important for the world to have an open, interoperable, cheap payment protocol for the internet. And we believe Lightning is that, and I believe Lightning is the only network that will actually be able to do that. And so I want to dedicate the rest of my life to actually making it happen because the world needs it.
And now just today, well, not today, a few days ago, but he comes out over here on Squawk Box and watch this video about how he literally talks about Bitcoin being the universal protocol for money on the internet.
So we were just saying the state of fintech and the state of payments and where we really are. You're working on a new project. I shouldn't even say a new project, but a project around the Lightning Network, which is aimed at basically taking Bitcoin. You can explain it better than I can. Effectively, you take it off chain and then put it back on chain to make these transactions faster.
Yes, actually what we're trying to do is turn Bitcoin into a real payment, global payment network because we have many tourists walking right outside of the studio right now. If you were to stop one of them and wanting to communicate with them, you could ask them for an email address and you can email them easily the next minute. You could text them, you could add them to a group video chat, you can do all of these things. But if you were to send them money, if they were not a US citizen here in the US using one of the same fintech apps you're using, then you wouldn't be able to do that. And so we're still in the fax era of global payments, and that's what we're attempting to solve.
Right. Well, why is that so important, by the way? Because the truth is, I can use Venmo. I mean, others can use services that are connected to each other. Why is that such a terrible answer?
So let's double click on that for a second. So you can use Venmo, but if someone is not using Venmo or is an international tourist walking right outside right now,
but right now, if I have an iPhone and I want to message somebody, I mean, if I don't have WhatsApp and somebody wants to WhatsApp me, they have to get the WhatsApp app.
But you have text, which is universal, where you can actually communicate and reach out to anyone you want in the world with one simple addressing scheme, which is a phone number, which is human readable. And you can't do that with money. There's no universal protocol for money on the internet that actually enables value to be transported through the internet. So if you were to want to send money to one of these people, you would probably need to ask them for a bank account number. The bank account number would be in different format depending on where you are in the world. You would have to actually physically walk to a branch and pay $50 to do an international wire. And if it's after Friday, 5 p.m., tough luck.
And how big a business is that?
It's ginormous, right? It's trillions of dollars of transactions that transit through SWIFT and other payment networks.
Well, let me ask you a separate question, which is around Bitcoin. We've watched the valuation of Bitcoin sort of sit around $25,000, $26,000. We've all been questioning, so where does this go? And does Bitcoin ever really become a currency, which is what you talk about it becoming? Do you think the value of Bitcoin needs to or can move up if it's actually a currency? Meaning, I've always made the argument the currency problem is if you think Bitcoin is going to $30,000 or $50,000 or $60,000, there's no way I'm going to spend it on a pizza or on anything, frankly. If I think it's going to go down, by the way, I might spend it immediately.
So our view is actually that Bitcoin is not the currency that people will use to buy things, but a fragment of a Bitcoin on top of Lightning is like a small data packet on the internet, only for value. And so you can exchange at the edges of the network and send dollars to someone that will receive Japanese yen on the other side, or send dollars to someone who will receive euros on the other side. And the actual net settlement layer that is used is basically Bitcoin, Lightning, and it settles in real time, cash final.
The idea of something like this happening back in 2017 and 2018 was absolutely crazy. And to think that now, Bitcoin, blockchain, it's literally daily discussion, right? We also have Shapeshift, which is allowing a multi-chain snap feature that will allow you to be able to convert things like Bitcoin into something like, Atom or Doge or something. Now, these are completely separate chains, right? You normally wouldn't be able to do this unless you were on a centralized exchange. And now this is coming directly to MetaMask, making it even easier for you to convert and transfer your crypto. Oh, not to mention that the Bank for International Settlements has called for blockchain-based sustainable financial solutions. They announced a COP28 initiative calling on developers to find blockchain-based solutions for sustainable finance. So you're even seeing the Bank of International Settlements looking into things like blockchain. Oh, and remember all that doom and gloom about Digital Currency Group planning to, have this issue where they were going to destroy the markets? Well, now it could see Gemini Earn users getting back all their crypto because they proposed a new creditor agreement in the bankruptcy offering unsecured creditors a 70 to 90% baseline recovery, right? Now, I know it's all not sunshine and rainbows. We obviously have Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher stoner cats right over here. They're saying that the SEC hit them with a $1 million fine. So great. Thanks, Gary, for protecting us against stoner cat JPEGs, right? But as we see over here, Hester Pierce and one of the other commissioners, I forget their name, also had a little bit of a dissent. I'm waiting for this to load. So you can see this is Hester Pierce. I'm not going to read all this, but basically they're against it, right? And I think this was the other one. So this statement came from, it was Commissioner Mark Uyeda, I believe his name is. So, just to kind of point this out, if we have a look over at the SEC, for example, come over here and have a look at their Wikipedia, you can see that they only have 5 commissioners, right? Gary Gensler obviously being the chair, but you have Mark and Hester, which is 2 out of the 3. So 2 out of the 2 out of the 5 are dissenting. And, not to make this political, but it is pretty interesting how the Republicans seem to be for crypto and the Democrats seem to be against crypto. Just kind of pointing that out, not trying to cause any, sparks down in the comments. But again, you have 2 out of 5 of the commissioners saying that they disagree with this. The times are changing. The tides are shifting, my friends. And if you don't see what's actually happening, well, I feel very, very bad because it's only a matter of time, right? And remember how we talked about a little bit of that conspiracy about how eventually they were going to make Bitcoin ESG friendly because of BlackRock, right? This was in that video that came out from British Hodl. Shout out to him. That was an awesome, awesome video. Look at the news now that's coming out from Texas. Of course, this isn't about Bitcoin being ESG friendly, but it is talking about Bitcoin helping balance the energy grid. So it's kind of funny to me.
Bitcoin mining company raked in record profits, reportedly because of this record Texas heat. And they got paid to cut back on energy usage. Interesting. ABC 13 senior digital producer Brittany Wilmore is in our newsroom this morning with how this all worked out. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning. Yeah, so ERCOT paid a company named Riot $31.7 million to cut back on that energy usage during our heat wave last month. And it's all part of the grid operator's demand response program. So this is how it works. In short, ERCOT will pay entities, or in this case, Bitcoin miners who use a lot of power to cut back during periods of peak demand, thus easing stress on the grid. Riot says it reduced power use more than 95% during those peak periods, earning the credits and keeping its own costs under control. It all comes as we were asked to conserve multiple times last month. But one energy expert explains it like this. He says ERCOT will call on large loads that have a contract with them to turn off at strategic times.
So a normal conservation is, hey, can you turn up your AC a bit? Can you not run your dryer? Can you try not to use your oven? EEA2 is an ERCOT action. They went and took an action and said, hey, we're going to go and have these loads turn off to make more room on the grid.
So Riot has operations north of Austin that they've also been ramping down for years to kind of help ease this burden on the grid. But it's interesting because ERCOT relies on these miners in other ways by counting on them to use excess power when there's too much supply. That way they can help keep our prices in check.
You know what else is kind of funny to me? The fact that FTX is going after celebrities for millions of dollars in promotional payments. So basically, they want to get $18 million back from celebrities as well as sports teams. Yeah, guys, sorry, but, these guys did their job, right? You paid them, whether it was right or wrong, whether they knew what they were shilling or not. Now you're going to go back and try to claw back the money that you spent on them. I just think that's absolutely crazy, absolutely ridiculous, guys. But, again, if you guys are looking for a place to trade, if you want to trade on a centralized platform, I do recommend CoinCatch. They have a special $10,000 bonus. This is specifically for Crypto Zombies subscribers. If you guys want to get that extra $100 too for deposit, that's available. And if you don't feel comfortable trading on centralized exchanges, I totally get it. I do recommend Apex Pro. This is 100% digital. decentralized exchange. They trade with USDC. And if you want, I do have a link for that below in the description as well. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. My apologies. Usually I like to be inside the video commentary, but like I said, I'm running kind of late today. I got to get out to this conference. So hope you guys are doing well. If I see anything crazy in the charts, I'll let you know. If you do want to learn how to trade, make sure that you check out these tutorials popping up right here, right now. Get subscribed, follow me over on X, Twitter, and I will keep you guys updated. So until next time, stay crypto, and of course, peace out.